Hello everyone. Today we're going to be taking a look at the creation of the guide's body. We looked at the head before, and this process is somewhat similar, but there's some differences as well. You can see the body up here in the T-pose, and this is what we would call the sculpt, which is basically the part in the process where we really get into the detail that's going to be going on to the character, add all those little things that really sell the feel of whether it's cloth or a hard surface or leather or whatever material, and just really this is where we create the detail. Call it sculpting, this part of the process, because it has a lot of similarities in some ways to traditional sculpting. I'll zoom in and you can see that a little bit. Basically within this program here, an artist can, using a tablet, basically go in and push and pull the model to add in either large or small scale details. So I'm just going to go in here and add something real basic. Obviously this wouldn't go into the final model, but I'm just going to go along here, and you can see I'm pulling that out and getting this weird stripe thing. And I could also go in and sort of start to push that back down, smooth it away, or if I go over here, can push that in, kind of the opposite of what I was doing previously. So, like I said, obviously this wouldn't go in the final model, but sort of gives you an idea of just how the artist is working. And this is actually working on a really high polygon mesh similar to the head. And I'm going to turn on a wireframe here so you can see a little bit more of what's going on. If I zoom in real close here and actually let me turn off the shading here to hopefully make that stand out a little better. You can see that this is all made up of individual polygons. So if I use that same tool again, you can see those polygons moving in and out as I click the mouse. And zoom back out here, and ignoring these weird edits that I just made, you can see that there's quite a bit of detail in here. The wrinkles on the cloth, this little waist strap and back. It's got all the little nuances, the seams in the jacket here, pockets, more seams. So really this is all about just getting in as much detail as possible. Similar to the head, this mesh here is too high of a polygon count for us to really deal with in game and put animation on and all these things. It's just too intensive and not really very efficient. So while the artist works in here, we actually, for the asset that's going to be used in game, we extract this data and apply that into a lower polygon mesh. And the way that data is extracted is in the form of a normal map, which I talked a little bit about previously, but it's basically kind of a lighting fake that gives the illusion of detail and how light interacts with the surface without actually having the dense polygon geometry there. So what I'm going to open up next is just the texture map or normal map that I'm talking about, just so we can see what that looks like. I'll blow this up a little bit, but this is kind of a funky looking thing here with all these purples and pinks and blues, but I think you can probably see some of the the similarities between this flat texture and the 3D object we were looking at earlier. This is probably a good area here. This is that waist strap that we were looking at before. I'll just switch back to that real quick. So there it is right there, and that corresponds to this area right here. I'll also just zoom in a little closer, but basically you can just see that correspondence. And then what I'm going to go to next is I'm actually going to open up the low polygon asset that will have this applied to it, and you can see the end results of what this normal map does for us. So going into Maya here, and this is our low poly mesh that would actually be used in game. I'm going to just turn on a wireframe here so you can see the the actual polygon count. As you can see, this is much lower polygons, has a much lower number of polygons than the one we were looking at earlier. That was millions, and this is only in the thousands. Obviously, this doesn't look too good right now, but if we apply that map, we'll start to see a lot of the detail come out. So I'm just going to turn on a little better rendering here, and now you can see that a lot of those wrinkles and details that were in that normal map, when it's applied to here and the lighting is turned on, gives that illusion of detail. So I'll rotate around here and go back to our previous area that we were checking out, and I'll rotate the light around here so we can see what's going on a little better. So this is that same strap in the back, and you can see that it looks like there's quite a bit of detail here. You got the little ridges, the seam, the wrinkles coming out. But if I actually select my geometry, you can see that the number of polygons is really quite low. But it's that normal map that's given this this illusion. I'll just rotate around, and this is a little shinier than the coat would really be, but helps to show off some of that sculpted detail in here. See the highlights a little better. Just rotate that light back around. And really the sort of end result of this process is to you work in this high resolution space in a sculpt where you can get in as much detail as possible, and then you sort of boil it down into the most efficient asset you can have that will run really nicely in your engine. And yeah, really it's all about efficiency.